version of our site plan. This one has a little bit more information on it. I've added in a couple more layers. So we've got this coastal layer, which has the shore right of way. That's this green line that you could see turn on and off. And then it's got our floodplain, which is this FP line. It's got the US coastal line down at the bottom. So you can start to see, this is the coastal line here. It's also got the riprap line. That's this kind of stony looking hatch, some buildings and some things like that. So to make diagrams, there's a couple of ways to do this. You can play around with, if you want to make a figure ground diagram, I would suggest either turning off or pausing or locking some of the layers. I'm gonna let's lock, let's turn off some of these coastal floodplain. I'm just gonna do that one. I'm gonna lock this. I'm gonna keep the contours off. I'm gonna lock it just for safe measure. Parcel lines, I'm gonna leave those on. Right of way, I'm gonna leave that on. Tree line, I don't think I want that on there. So I'm just gonna turn that off and I'm gonna lock the legend for now. So I'm gonna see how this is already in a group. When I selected it, it selected everything. I could either double click in that if I wanted to work on individual buildings. I'm gonna hit Command 0 and get us back to the center of screen. I'm using my roll bar or Command plus to go in and out. But if I want this building to become a figure versus something that's just an outline, I'm just going to hit this arrow button right here and see how that just inverts the color. So instead of an outline, now we've got the fill color. But I want that to happen to all of the buildings. So I could either do a select all, I could do a select same fill and stroke, or I could exit out of this group and just select this guy here. Now it selects the whole group and then do that. And now I've got all of my figure out. This one, it's a little goofy. Maybe I want to play around with that a little bit. So if this one, it looks like there might be some issues with the how the lines are joined. So I might delete some of these and connect some of the ones that are, potentially, yeah, I can see that this line segment is a little goofy. So maybe I delete this and then we have, this looks like it's a contained shape. So maybe I just move that up. So I've got this, see how the direct selection tool allows me to select one point. I can move that up. Now that is going to look a little bit better. And then this guy, that looks like it's a shape. This one doesn't look like it's a shape. Maybe I want to put a rectangle there. I could either, with my selection tool, delete those guys, or I could actually, oops, I'm going to undo that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to use my direct selection tool here. I'm going to use the point tool. So this one here, and I'm going to add a point to it, and then I'm going to connect it and connect it there and connect it there. And then I'm going to move this back. So go back to my direct selection tool. That's this one. And move this back. And you can see my snaps are set to cardinal angles, and that's just, for my own benefit. And then this one, I think I'm going to add a rectangle here. So I'm just going to grab this rectangle tool, go up. And then this guy, I want this to be the same. I'm going to just copy and paste. So I'm going to hit edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And then I want it to go, I want it to move up. I'm going to hold the shift key and move it up. And once I get it to the kind of like the spot that I want, I'm going to use the pen tool. So I just hit P on the keyboard. And then I'm making this a line. Now, and when you see that little shape come up, when you get that little O next to your pen tool, you know you're going to close that shape. And then you can see how if I put the pen tool and it comes up with a minus sign, that's going to delete the point. Or if I want to add a point, it comes up with a plus sign right next to the pen tool. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to delete that one. And then I'm going to move this and I'm going to hit A on the keyboard and that'll let me move it. When you get that pink line, you know you're moving it in parallel. And then I want this to become all one shape. So I'm going to use my selection tool. I'm going to select the whole thing by clicking and dragging around the entire thing. It's going to select it. And then I'm going to use this shape builder tool right here. I'm going to click on that. Yes, I want the shape builder. I'm going to click once and pull this plus sign through. And that's going to give me my shape builder. I want this guy connected. This guy, it looks like I did something wrong. So I'm gonna go back to this pen tool and I'm gonna click here and here. And it looks like I must have done the rectangle outside of this group. So I'm gonna use my selection tool and I'm gonna delete this guy. And I'm inside the shape and I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna make that rectangle tool, use that rectangle tool to draw this again. And I'm gonna hit Command All. That's gonna select, oops, pardon me. We've got everything here. And then I'm gonna use that shape builder tool again, see how there's all one shape. Now I've got this in there too. Okay, so that's fixed. Now I'm back out. I've escape, and I'm gonna use this again. And you see how that one got fixed. So that's one way to make a figure of ground diagram. We'll come back and make a couple more diagrams.